I built over 30 different marketing techniques, had them work in a low risk, lower cost, much higher return way. When I was in the Air Force, I brought the first artificial intelligence project to the military. I'm an AI programmer. Back when they didn't have any tools, we created our own tools. So we did everything, database, probability equations, all that straight up. When I got out, I wrote a 3 million line software program for businesses because before that, they needed 5 different softwares to do their billing, their scheduling, their inventory control. Everything was a special program. So that's still running I have customers that have paid me monthly for the last 25 years. Still working wonderful, pays my bills, which is nice. 10 years ago, I met a guy that had a 35-year-old family business, and he had to retire, but he found out it wasn't worth anything. So I took a 5-year hiatus, spent probably $75,000 working with the top marketing gurus around the world. And I wanted to find out how marketing worked, why he didn't have value in his business. It was my goal to help at least 1,000 small businesses not go out of business and have, something to retire on. So that's been the driving force of what I've done. But when I was talking to all these people, they all did 4 or 5 areas, and they were very good at it, and they charged a lot of money. They spent a lot of their customers' money, and it worked because they outspend their competition, and they were good at what they did on these things. So I learned all these pieces. So I took all this mess of notes I had, and I built over 30 different marketing techniques and had them work in a low risk, lower cost, much higher return way. So I found out what the secret to marketing for small businesses to use over 10 ways to internet market. 90% of $1 million small businesses use 10 or more marketing techniques. So I come in with 30, we pick the right pieces in the right order, and we make it work, and it works well for them. The other side of the equation is that 70% of the sale is done before they even talk to you. So what happens is I talked to a guy recently that subscribed to 4 lead companies. They gave him leads, and they're spending $10,000 a month, but he doesn't have any follow-up. He doesn't have any foundation where people can find and verify them. Everything else is missing. All his money went into it. It's like back when you spent $10,000 on a website, but nobody comes to it. Okay, well, spend half of that on the website, but half on it, maybe getting some traffic. So the other piece of the third piece of the puzzle is I'm finding less than 10% have a structured follow-up system. So if they contact them and they say, okay, I'm not interested today, they throw them on the floor and they get more leads. They don't nurture that lead into eventual sale. That doesn't mean talking them into a sale. That means giving them the value that they can use to trust you. I'm an AI programmer, back when they started. I want to make sure that the numbers are right. I understand the numbers, but a math person and engineer. And I've also understood that the value of, whether you want to call it karma or not, but if you help enough people, it will come back and around. And I go to help people, and I can tell you that, like, I go onto these different platforms and I meet people, but I get over half of my business comes from referrals and actually the person I'm talking to, because they trust when I'm talking to them. I help them out. They go, I hadn't thought about that. Let me try that. And they talk among people, and they say, hey, you've got this marketing problem. You should talk to him. And then I don't charge as much as I should, or I could, but it all comes around. I'm passionate about helping 1,000 people over the next 10 years. The thing that bothers me or keeps me up at night is wanting to get more people to be aware that there is help out there. Don't give up on their business. Come have a conversation. Let me head you in the right direction. There's companies that'll charge for 1 or 2 services. They'll do SEO for $3,000 a month, and 3 months later, that small business spent $10,000 money that they didn't have, and they haven't gotten any leads in. And I'm like, I want to make people aware of the decisions they're making and what the options are. Just because you don't understand what they're doing, send me an email. I'll send you an answer back. I want to make it aware. I must be doing something, because I'm already getting hate mails from people saying I'm not charging enough and I'm hurting their business and all that. So I'm like, okay, thank you for noticing that, but there's millions of people that need help. I work with a lot of coaches. Like, I do their marketing side, they do the cleaning up the business, and it works. But what I do when I tell a customer is, how much has your profit changed you can make all the sales in the world you want, but if you're only making a penny or if you're making $100 a sale, it makes a difference. Are you as the owner? I had a guy that hired me and he was working 8 hours out in the field, come home and do 4 hours of business stuff that he hated, and he was miserable. His family was miserable. I turned that 4 hours into 20 minutes by automating it. His family's happy, he's happy. So you have to balance that lifestyle, right? You can't just work 18 hours a day and be happy. My passion, when I retire in 10 years, is to have an animal sanctuary. I go out, I take a 2 hour lunch, go play with the puppies outside, and I'm happy for it, but I can think about others, take some phone calls, but you've got to be happy in what you're doing. There's 7 reasons that business fail. And the last one is that the owner is not doing what he got into business for, what made him happy. Maybe he's a mobile mechanic and he loves working on cars and traveling around, but now he's got to do sales, he's got to do marketing, he's got to do his books. And the number of hours where he's actually doing what he enjoys shrinks to a point that it's like, it's not worth it.